We've got to go live to Canberra now and take Dan Tehan.
Of the Liberal Party, we were united on many, many things. Can I first start by saying thank you to the colleagues, but with the way that they continue to engage on this issue of energy and emissions reduction. Can I say that colleagues really appreciated the process. They thought that it was fantastic that we could all come together and debate the issues in this way. There was a set of principles that was handed out, that I handed out, 2 guiding principles and then 8 principles underneath that, and there was pretty much unanimity when it came to those principles. Obviously, there was very, very passionate discussions in the room because energy and emissions reduction is an issue that everyone cares deeply about. And the overwhelming thing that came out of the meeting for me was that everyone wants to make sure that our policy, our energy policy and our emissions reduction policy is in the national interest. That became incredibly clear. What's going to happen from here? Obviously, this was part of the process that we've been undertaking, a 4-part process. It started with me, obviously, forming a working group under the auspices of Susan and of David. We've had those discussions. Obviously, I've been having discussions one-on-one with my colleagues. There's also been the process that Simon Kennedy and Jane Hume have led. What will follow after today is that I will prepare a submission that will go to the Shadow Ministry at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then myself and Susan will stand up after that Shadow Ministry and formally announce our policy. And that policy will have come out of that very robust and rigorous process. I'm happy to take a few questions from you now, but I'd also ask that it's going to be a few because I've got to go away and prepare a submission tomorrow, which I obviously have to take to the Shadow Ministry. So,
what are the 2 guiding principles and the 8 principles? Mr. Tehan, what are the 2 guiding principles and the 8 principles? Can you just...
So I will hand out those list of principles at the end of this press conference. But the foundation principles were very clear, that energy affordability must come first and must be the focus along with reliability. And then the second principle is that we have to be serious when it comes to addressing emissions reduction, because we want to be able to show very clearly that this is an issue the whole party room takes seriously, and we want to do our part when it comes to emissions reduction. And I'll hand those principles out at the end of this.
Are you expecting this to be still serious?
Are you able to confirm the majority of the room agree that any reference to net zero should be abandoned from the policy?
So I've always protected the sanctity of our party room, and I'm going to continue to do that because my colleagues deserve that. My job now is to respect what was said in the room today, to now take that away, form a shadow ministerial paper, take that to the Shadow Ministry tomorrow, and then myself and Susan will formally announce our policy after that meeting tomorrow. So you can all be rest assured that by around midday tomorrow, you will very clearly know what our energy and emissions reduction policy is as a Liberal Party.
Will your submission actually say, though, Dan Tehan, and will it call for the Liberal Party to drop references to net zero?
Well, once again, I'm going to respect my colleagues and I'm going to respect my shadow ministerial colleagues, and I obviously had to wait and see what was discussed in the party room today. Right throughout this process, the one thing that I've been very, very careful on and always wanted to do is to make sure that I've respected my colleagues. We've had incredible engagement, And can I say today, once again, there was a lot of people who stood up and said how much they appreciated the engagement that had taken place, and especially the Liberal Party meeting today to be able to flesh out these issues. And I'm going to continue to respect that, because that's what the party room deserves. I've got one more question.
Your guiding principles is about being serious on addressing emissions. Does that look? What does that look like? Being serious on addressing emissions? Are you tying Australia to OECD or other major developed countries? What does it actually look like?
So I'll be working through that this evening, following the contributions today, and I'll also just address that other question. I still think, and have always thought right throughout this process, that it is possible for us to unite, and that's my job now tonight, is to go away and do that. And then what you will hear tomorrow is our formal policy. And I've got to say, through all the contributions in the room today, everyone again struck an accord by saying we have to come together, we have to have a policy, and then we've all got to unite behind that policy. And that's what I've got to do now, is I've got to go away and finalise that submission. I've still got plenty to write, and then I can tell you, you will all hear from Susan and myself tomorrow, and you will get our formal position. Thanks very much, everyone.
There we go. The Liberal Shadow Minister for Energy, Dan Tehan, there, wrapping up that press conference after the party room meeting in Canberra today. Now, it was a strange press conference, wasn't it? Because the guts of it is this plan contained in really these dot points, these principles, 2 guiding principles and 8 other principles underneath it, but we're only just releasing that after the press conference. We'll bring that to you during the program. We'll get that sent up from Canberra and share with you those principles. But Dan Tehan saying there's a unity on many things in that party room, and he'll get a new policy through Shadow Ministry tomorrow, and the party will be united. Let me just get a quick reflection on this from Pauline Hanson, who's been waiting in Queensland, listening in on this. Pauline, we still don't know where they're going to go, but what do you think of Dan Tehan's optimism about a united coalition approach?
I told you before he actually made his statement that they're not going to back away from the emissions target or get out of the Paris Agreement. That's what it pulled out of it. He said, we will produce an energy and an emissions target, and we'll put out our policies after he does his submissions to the Shadow Cabinet. So the fact is that they can't, Chris. If they actually do, they're going to have people like Bragg, Hume, Ruston are actually going to throw their arms up in the air. So there's going to be tensions there within the party. They are split on this. And they actually need to satisfy the Nationals, because the Nationals are in fear of One Nation taking their seats. It's a whole bloody mess. I'm telling you, it's a mess with the whole lot. But what we've got to understand, they talk about emissions, Chris. We are now 24% lower in our emissions since 2005, 24%. But these other countries, they're only 14%. Why are we still destroying our economy and not giving cheap power to the Australian people, losing our industries, manufacturing? Trump has not signed up to this. Trump has now got $19 trillion of investment going into his country. What the hell are we doing here? And they're still sitting on the fence. I'm telling you, One Nation is the only party who's prepared to do something about it.
They are calling it a energy and emissions reductions policy, and so I think your point there is clear. There's still going to be product differentiation there for One Nation going forward. Thanks for joining us, Pauline.